Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you? I hope you're all okay. So let's begin with our day because I guess that it will be very long. So as always, I will recommend you to watch to read the post for every day, because for sure I write much more information there than I will speak here. So as always, what I explain here is much more as a overview, as a summary of the concepts, and maybe explaining something that I didn't do before. So today we have two topics to speak about: the respiratory system and the immunologic system. So respiratory and immune. So respiratory, what it means, again, and spirare, that means to blow. So what it means, respiratory, is the system that once and again repeats a blowing. So what is immune? Immune comes from in, that means inside, and munere, that means to build a fortress or a wall. So immune means the fortress or wall that we build to protect the inside. So these are the two systems that we are going to speak about today. Something that I repeated many times is that we have to remember that the word spirits comes from this word, to the respiration, to breathe. Basically, because for the ancient ones, the first humans, they thought that the spirit, the soul, was related to the breath, was related to the blowing inside of the body. Okay, so this represented the life, the spirit. So this is why breathing give birth to the idea of the spiritual world. So in this case, what we can say is that the respiration is the way in which we can understand the movement of the spirit along the entire universe, how we understand the movement of the spirit of the soul throughout the entire cosmos, and how it is, because exactly the same way in which we breathe is how the universe kind of breathes too. The universe is expanding and contracting all the time. So this repetition through millions of years is what we can call the respiration, the breathing of the cosmos. Something that we have spoke about many times, which was the inhalation, the holding the air, and exhalation of the universe. So the spirits would move through the universe as the air moves within us in the respiratory system. So let's try to understand the respiratory system. Let's try to make it as best I can do it. Well, okay. First of all, let's locate the pineal here and the hypophysis here. Okay, so this would be the thalamus. I don't know all the words in English, so I will need your help. As an image about this, here, of course, you have the nose. You have the nose. From the nose, you make the strength to bring the air in, and then you have nasal hole, okay, here. Then it goes down through the larynx, which is this part here that connects with the mouth. That's why you can breathe also with the mouth. The larynx, this is the vocal cords inside. The vocal cords, trachea. So nasal cavity, larynx, it's like this. Larynx, trachea, and this part here. Then we have bronchi. Okay, bronchi. This would be the bronchi. These others will be the bronchioles. And then the alveoli around. And this would be how an alveoli looks like, okay? Which are the different capsules that create the entire lung. So this is one lung and the other lung. So if you look at it, this is like a tree, basically. It's a tree with all its branches, and they absorb light and they give air. It's exactly the same structure. I explained today that what we are breathing in is air, but air is not something complete. It's not air. Air is basically the conjunction of many things that live around us. And this is that air is composed by a lot of gases, a lot of chemicals, but also there is dust around, there are particles, there are bacteria, microbe, okay. So viruses, there are chemical compostes. There are so many things in the air that air is not just air, okay? It's a conjunction of many things together. So what the respiratory system does is to filtrate, okay? It's a filter for the air, so all the heavy things that are out there can be like processed and and doesn't reach the main alveoli, okay? So the first one get here, and the most heavy ones are trapped by the mucus. The mucus trapped all the things that enters this zone and then is expelled outside if sneezing or with the mucus or so on, or all these things outside, okay? And if not, in the larynx, it is also processed by the saliva, which goes straight to the digestive system to be excreted. So then it goes through the vocal cords, trachea, and then starts to be absorbed by the alveoli, okay, which is the one that absorbs the tiny ones. Remember that there is around 70% of nitrogen in the air and 21% of oxygen in the air. So we are reaching the oxygen because it helps us to keep the energy inside of our body. How? Because the oxygen does a process in the cells through the alveoli. They go into the blood, and through the blood, the oxygen gets in touch with the cells, and the cells starts to use this oxygen to produce an oxidation. I don't know the word in English. Oxidificate. Which term do you use in English for that understanding? Oxides. Rust? No, it's not the one I'm looking for. Oxidize. Yeah, oxidize. Thank you. So oxidize the things that the cells doesn't need, so the cells doesn't waste energy on trying to clean themselves. The air is in charge of that cleaning. So the air oxidizes all the things that we don't need and send it back again to the torrent of the blood, and like the carbon dioxide, and it goes outside of the body again. So this is why the oxygen basically helps the body to maintain their storage of energy, purging the body. So remember that oxygen, this 21% of oxygen, is not doesn't come exactly from trees and in the rainforest or the forest. This oxygen was created and fill up the atmosphere of our planet around 2300 million years ago. 2300 million years ago, when the phytoplankton started to fill up the oceans doing photosynthesis. By the process of photosynthesis, the plants uses the nitrogen and carbon. They absorb these chemical components, and they release the oxygen because they don't need them. Okay, they don't need the oxygen for anything to do photosynthesis. So they storage the carbon and they release the oxygen. So this is why we, the animals, started to use the oxygen for our energy so we can move. Because we couldn't do photosynthesis, we ate the plants, but we need to move according to that. So that's why we uses the oxygen to restore the energy at the time in our cells so we can move forward. Even if we today believe that the oxygen comes from the trees, of course that it comes from trees, but most of it comes from the oceans because of phytoplankton. Since millions of years ago, they produce the huge amount of oxygen that we use in our world. So most of it is produced when they die in the poles, okay, in the Antarctic Ocean and the Arctic Ocean. So there is released all the huge amount of oxygen to the atmosphere. So when we think about all the oxygen, we have to think also about the oceans. So remember this, of course, that trees are important. We should not cut the trees. We should not do what we are doing in the world with the trees, with the rainforest. We have to protect the trees because they not only give oxygen to us, they also control the temperature of the planet and so on. But it's important to know too that when we are increasing the heat of the planet, just if the oceans have 1 degree more of temperature, the phytoplankton can die because they are really sensitive, like the corals. Okay, so if they start to if the ocean starts to get heat for 0.5 degree or 1 degree more, is the algae, the plankton that die, the phytoplankton that dies. So being objective with this, we can live without trees, but we cannot live without phytoplankton. So once we understand from where it comes, the oxygen we breathe, why we breathe, and what it does inside of us, the breathing, let's understand the most bigger picture of what is breathing in our life, so we can get the universal point of this. So now we can picture this image from the entire cosmos. The air we breathe is like the entire universe. So we have a lot of nitrogen, which is the essence of information in the universe. And then we have the oxygen, which is like the light beings, the spirits. And they are here free, but mostly they are connected to the carbon, so a dark being. The dark being, the carbon, connected to the oxygen, is like the yin-yang of the universe, the manifested and the subtle planes. So they live together as one. So now we can understand this from a different point of view. Imagine that this here, this body, is the geometrical aspect of the universe. And then around the air is the information of the cosmos. So the nitrogen is kind of the most important data that surrounds us all the time, that goes through us all the time, nourishing everything. Then the oxygen are the light beings, with the carbon, the dark beings, that they will go inside of the geometry with a purpose. So when they get inside, they will go through different dimensions, going through different levels to understand, to go through the process of understanding who they are, what they're going to become. And they go through wormholes in the universe around here. And from that, they arrived to worlds. And in these worlds, these beings, the dark ones and the light ones, they get inside of the currents of history of these worlds that goes into bodies that we call cells. And when those spirits goes into the bodies of the cells, they start to clean the body of karma, giving the energy that we call dharma. So they take back the karma as a process of learning, and they give it back again through the same system outside in the air of the cosmos as data. Okay, is the Akashic records. From this, we can understand that our respiratory system is basically how the universe is processing all this souls and beings and data and information that goes inside of us, incarnates in the cells that we call the bodies, processed through karma and dharma, all the history, and then goes back to the source. So basically, every time that we breathe is kind of like an age for the universe. So this happens in many worlds. Every time that we breathe, thousands of cells die and thousands of cells are born. Every time we breathe. So every time we do that, we fill up with energy and information, with souls and spirits, every one of our cells of our world. So the universe expands, the lungs expand, and this has a limit. The limit is the diaphragm. Here is an elastic tissue that it will expand when the spirits come and born in the planets, and then it contracts again, sending them back to the universe. Like, this is the end. You have to start reset again. So this process that is so tiny, it is like exactly like if in every inhalation we are living 2,000 years of history, and then in the exhalation we are living 2,000 more. So all this process of time that has happened was a history for our body. So now every time that we take a breath, we will think about it. So the people that smoke, the people that doesn't know how to breathe, you have to learn how to do it. Because now you can ask yourself, what are you bringing to the worlds inside of your universe? What information are you bringing to every one of your cells, of the beings that live within you? So when we, for example, ask to the universe or God, why are you bringing this reality to us? So we have also to think about, what are we bringing to the world? And remember always, don't breathe through your mouth. Your mouth has been done for eating. It's connected with another tube going down. So breathing through the mouth is basically a need of air, like when you are healing or trying to take something for release or something like this. Okay, so in that moment, yes, but normally when you are trying to be in harmony, the nose, only the nose is the one that tells you to be in harmony. Okay, remember also that it's important to know that we usually breathe with this part when we do that, and this is not good. We have to breathe and to feel the respiration kind of in the stomach, in the abs, okay, below here. So we do it much more complete, the entire process. Relaxing. We have to learn to breathe again like a baby, do this constant proper respiration. So now remember that system brings us to another one. In the air, we have many things, not only oxygen. We have parasites, microbes, we have bacteria, virus, many dark beings. So let's go into this system. This takes us to the immune system. Why I call them the dark beings? Not because they are bad, but because they are tools that help everything to evolve in a very pushy way. To understand this, the dark beings are not bad beings. Okay, dark beings are helpful in the process of evolution. They help the beings to evolve. They help in the transformation of everything. So they are not bad. Okay, when they become bad, when we are not able, or we are not in the mood of change. So they were made for change. So when they come and push us, we don't like it, and that's why we interpret that's why we interpret that that they are bad. But saying this is like saying that water is bad because there are tsunamis. Water is no bad. It's just that the way in which I found the water in that moment, it was horrible. But this doesn't mean that the ocean or the water is bad. Okay. Immune system. Let's try to understand how this begins. It's not for defense at the beginning. This system was made for evolution. And for this, we have to understand the beginning of this. The nature is not fighting itself. It's not something that is trying to kill something out. Nature looks for symbiosis. Symbiosis is that basically everything lives in harmony, all together as one, which means that nothing in nature was done against nothing. Basically, everything that appears is just to control the balance between each one of the parts. This is what symbiosis means, that everything appears in order to control the quantity of the things and the use of things. This is like when we go to to the video that we spoke yesterday, to the endocrine system, we will know that homeostasis, this system, was designed in order to find this balance between all the parts. So nature does exactly the same. Nature is finding symbiosis, which is all lives together. And by this, the systems evolve into ways that they can take benefit from the outside, and they can improve one to another, exchanging energy and transcending. So to understand the system, we can picture this in this way. The immune system is like a production of cells or chemical elements that absorbs one information, retain that information, understand that information, and then it shares it with all the other cells, because it says, I have a new environment, there is something outside that I don't understand, so I have to get this information, understand it myself, and then share it with the others so they know how to live in this new environment. So as a simple example, we can say that you and your entire family are moving to a new country where they speak another language, and nobody gets anything. So what you do is to go to this country with this family. They don't get anything, but you decide to study the language. You take the books, you read the books, you understand the language, you study it all, and then once you get it inside, you look into your family and you share the language and you teach the language to them so they can move properly in this new country. So now take this image in your head and recognize that once you learn how to live in that country, not only you survive in that country, but also you can exchange and share with the people of that country. So when we bring it into biology, you will understand that inside of you, you have more bacteria, parasites, and viruses than cells. In your body right now, you have much more viruses and bacteria than even cells. Because through thousands of years, we started to know how to combine, how to exchange with these environments. And we started to know how to live with them. So as you see, the the immune system is not fighting against something outside. It's trying to understand something from the outside. So now imagine this, that eventually sometimes there are some of these viruses and bacteria that you have no idea that they exist. So you live quietly and your body has no clue of them around. So imagine that you live with your family in this new country, all happily living perfectly. And how would you feel that if one night you are eating all together, laughing, sharing, and suddenly from the window, the door, everywhere, 10 people start to get inside of the house and they start to eat the food, and they, I don't know, they don't like the dog, so they throw it through the window and they put their bed there and stay at home, and you don't know them. How would you feel? So of course that the body will feel invaded by these beings that are very aggressive getting inside. So the first thing that the body, the family, will do in order to take them out is to try to make the environment, the house, as much uncomfortable as possible for these invaders. What they does, the first thing they do is to turn on the heat of the house. So much heat that they can feel uncomfortable. So they would say, like, it's too much hot here, I feel dizzy, let's go from here because we have no idea how to survive. It's not comfortable to stay here. So fever. So fever is not caused by the virus. The fever is caused by the organism, the body, trying to make to feel uncomfortable the virus or the bacteria. So there will be two types of people inside this house. One that will say, that will take a stick and will start to hit the people for them to get out. Go away. And there is another one that will sit and try to speak with them to tell them, who are you? Why are you here? From where you come from? In the first case, the person that receives, that starts to hit them, it will receive fight back. So it will be very, very hurt, okay? Because maybe he can kill someone or he can kick them away, but he will end up really, really terrible, okay? Very exhausted. And in the second case, the person that speaks to them, that tries to understand them, will take longer to take them out of the house. But now that person will know exactly how to treat them. So eventually, if someone else comes again in the same situation, he will know how to treat that person and maybe give them what they need and be much more cordial. So in the first case, the one that was hitting the people end up so hurt, so bad, that if new people come, it will die because it cannot face another fight. It's already hurt. But in the second case, the person that spoke, it took a long time for him to understand. But anyway, it will help. It won't lose energy, okay, for them to, if someone else comes, it won't lose energy. So he knows already how to do them. The image of the next example would be that suddenly someone from the outside is realizing that there's people invading houses around, that there are people invading different houses. And so these people from the outside, they pick some of these invaders and kill them. And when they kill them, they throw it through the window of the people that are sitting, eating, spending the night together as a family. And suddenly, dead bodies, corpse starts to get inside the door and the window from the house. And the people eating there was like, what is this? Why are we receiving these dead bodies from windows? So there are two. So this is what we call a vaccine, okay? A vaccine is that someone killed the invaders before they reach your house and they throw it dead through your window. So there are two ways. Of making a vaccine. The first one is to throw it by the window. And you are eating, and suddenly you have dead bodies there, and you have no idea who they are, why they're there, why someone put them inside of your house. No idea. So that would be the first one. In the second case, they throw the dead bodies through the window, but they have a note. In the note, they explain, these are thieves that are invading houses, and before they reach your house, we send them here. They are coming from this place, they are doing this, they want to do that. So you can understand what are they. In the first case, no note, just the dead body. You have no clue of how to defend yourself because you have no clue about who these people are. So if someone gets inside of your home, you will start all again because you have no clue of anything. But in the second case, when the people did all the stuff, they know exactly what are they, from where they come from, and all these things. So the person that received this dead body can understand, oh, now I get it. So now I know how to protect myself. Okay? In the first case, when they throw the dead bodies through the window, is what we are living today. What we are living today with the coronavirus, we are receiving dead bodies in our bodies because in order to know exactly this invader, you need at least 5 years of study of where they come from, how to treat them, and so on. So you need a long time, and we are having vaccines in just 1.5 years. So this means that we are having information inside our bodies that we don't know what they really are, and they are throwing dead bodies and many other things inside of our houses that we have no clue of what they are. Talking about the immunological system, the vaccines are setting inside of us information that we have to interpret. Is our body one that must interpret information? The vaccines doesn't heal you. Vaccines doesn't provoke you any disease. What really happens is how your body can interpret or understand what you are putting inside your body. So the vaccine is the information of the virus. It's just that. But every human has a different immunological system prepared for different things. So this is why it's not that one vaccine can heal you or a vaccine can kill you. It depends in what you eat, in how you how you accept the things from the outside. It depends on how you are. Okay, so the idea of this is that the virus, the immunological system is unique for every human being. It's different from every human being. So it's not that the vaccines will kill you or the vaccines will save you. It's just that the vaccines actually is giving you the virus, the information of the virus, so you can process inside that information. And if you don't know how to handle that information inside, if you don't interpret that information inside with your own immunological system, you won't be able to handle that information. That's why you can get sick or you can heal or whatever. So most of us humans, maybe the 80% of humanity, we can handle with our immunological system, we can handle the virus, maybe as a flu. And maybe the 20% of humanity can't handle it at all. They would be very they would suffer a lot. So mainly what is happening is that the quarantine is trying to protect us, because we don't know how many hospitals we will need. We don't have the system to contain so many people that can get sick. But actually, it's our immunological system, the one that interprets the information of the vaccine. So one of the main things that we have to do with our in our life is to heal our immunological system. We have to take care of what we eat, how we live, in which environment we live. What I'm saying is that we have to empower our immunological system, and that doesn't mean that all the bodies can hold the immunological system. Some people need the vaccines in order to help themselves because they don't have the strength in order to do it by themselves, and we have to respect that. And also remember that we should not start a war against vaccination. We should not start a war against doctors and vaccines, because it helped people. Many people is alive because of vaccines. Okay, some people needs them. So don't start a war against doctors, medicine, and science. The conflict here is that there are people that makes business with this. That's the only problem, the business. Okay, so just pay attention to the real conflict and not against the science and medicine. Okay, so for example, I don't want to vaccinate myself. I don't like that. I don't ever vaccinate myself, because I rather trust my own immunological system. So I don't like to put vaccines on me. I want to do this. by myself. Okay, so it's my choice, but I cannot tell other people for them to not to vaccinate, because each person has their own immunological system, and you know if you trust it or not. So don't force others to do something against. Okay, don't force others to vaccinate or not to vaccinate. Okay, each one has to know its own immunological system, to trust its own immunological system. So I wanted to speak about this because this affects all of us, of course, today. And I wanted to say this, that this is not white or black. So this is what takes us in this week. That we have to understand that we should not push others to do something against their will, whether it is vaccinate or not. So we have to understand that we have to know ourselves. First of all, we have to know our system, and from there to take the decision if we want to do that or not. But it's not or one or the other. It's your own responsibility for the system not to force you to be vaccinated, because it's your right in your body. So once said this, let's go to the alignment. I know that this gives data for a long chat, but I cannot be here for hours. So I just expect that this is useful for you to decide your own paths and ways. The vibration today is Khe. The statement for today is, I am a channel of communication. The code for today is the excretory system. This system that releases the body's waste is constituted by the kidneys, bladder, urethra, colon, rectum, and anus. All the liquid of the body is processed by the kidneys to absorb what's necessary and discard all the other heavy elements that are harmful to the organism. This way, they are sent to the bladder that stores this waste as urine before being expelled through the urethra. The same way, all discarded material by the small intestine is expelled through the large intestine, where it's compacted to be excreted physically by the rectum and anus. This system would be compared to the implosion of a galaxy, black holes, where everything is recycled. Sit comfortable, close your eyes, and concentrate precisely in your breathing. I take a deep breath and become aware of the body that I inhabit. Slowly, I take a deep breath and start to expand the body, stretching, yawning, moving every joint, and softly you begin to caress and massage every part of it, touching every centimeter of your body, recognizing all of it. I allow myself to feel the body, those parts of it that can feel uncomfortable, the parts where I can feel pleasure. I know each one of them. I stretch and start to touch, caress my body as if it is the body of my lover, the person that I love, caressing the lips, the face, hands, and each part of it. I allow myself to feel the pleasure of touching the body without any shame, no shame. And I take a deep breath and start to relax the entire body, letting the head fall down, the jaw, the shoulders, the arms. If it's necessary, I let the jaw hanging from the head, opening the mouth as the arms hang from the shoulders. Now, I take a deep breath and this time becoming aware of every step of it. I breathe through the nose, feeling the air getting in through the larynx, going to the trachea, the bronchi, the alveoli, going through all the lungs, inside the two lungs, until I feel the oxygen going through the veins to every one of the cells in my body, bringing this energy, cleaning every body. I feel this process of these light beings inside of me. clean, they send back all the things that they purged again through the arteria to the alveoli, the bronchi, the trachea, the larynx, and exhale through the nose. Repeat this process once and again, being aware that you breathe in, inhale, you hold the air in this trip inside, and then you breathe out. Exhale. I recognize in my breathing how thousands, hundreds of cells are born and many others die. How all this process nourish every world inside of me. I can realize that every breath I take is a history in all the beings within my inner universe. I recognize that in this process of breathing, the inside and the outside can communicate. So I recognize the respiration as the bridge between the universe and the cosmos. I recognize myself as an entire universe in each breath. And I recognize inside of me this power that I have to keep me alive, that help me recognize the environment, to adapt, to handle every situation in this world. I honor the immune system. I honor every white cell that protects me. Every angel and light warrior that lives within me, protecting me in the path of evolution. I am the channel of communication between the universe and the cosmos. I am the channel of communication. I am the channel of communication. I am the channel of communication. I have. I have. I am form. I take a deep breath, and each one at its own time, come back here and now. And we take this energy, we put it into the water, and we pour it on the seeds that we have sowed. Thank you, everybody, for being another day here. And as always, see you tomorrow at the same time.